There was a bloke at the Birmingham game supporting Birmingham last week to the left, on the other side of the aisle, in the seats owned by the telephone company who give their seats away to opposition supporters, you remember, and just a bit too far away to discuss anything with, who here today versus Portsmouth was appearing to support Portsmouth. He's got a Portsmouth scarf on, just hidden under his jacket. What is that all about? This is the very same man who shouted, "Come on you Birmingham," last week and wore a Birmingham scarf. Does he just come to support the opposition? He is a large, ruddy-faced, podgy ginger with a very full ginger beard. He saw me clocking him and smirked. I wanted to go up and tell him, "Excuse me, this is a no smirking zone." I wouldn't have said that. And asked the steward to remove this ginger Ponzi supporting all the other teams other than Chelsea idiot. But I didn't. Ye gods. Shawnee right, getting man of the match for England was disastrous for me. Everyone had a go again. He got man of the match, didn't he? You're going to admit you're wrong. He's always been a great player, and Mourinho's just treated him badly by not playing him. But now he's got the confidence, said Belinda, attacking me again. She never fucking stops with those Chinese burns. God, people must have been scared of her at school. I wonder whether her husband has to put up with her squeezing his manhood in the same way. Then bloody dancing twirler has a go at me.
He was the best player on the pitch for England. I don't want to hear no words said against him.
Perhaps I should be cringing. Dick just sings at me.
Shawnee right. Shawnee right.
Olivia and Nigel join in. Shawnee right. Shawnee right. Yes, all right. You made your bloody point. Look, let's just see how he plays today, shall we? He might be shit. There is that possibility.
Oh, get you, says Dick.
Touched a nerve, have we? Then his phone rings and he's playing.
Oh, can you see me? Where are you? What? Oh, you're in the West Stand. Yeah, I'm in the East. Can you see me? I'm holding my hand up. I'm in the East Stand middle, in the middle. Yeah, well, I'm not quite in the middle. I'm to the right of the middle, which is probably your left, depending on where you are. If you're West Stand left, it might be to your right, etc., etc. Oh, yawn, as he does each week. It's my bank manager, he tells us. He's in a box near Abramovich. I'll see if he can get us a couple of quid.
So, who else was there? The lone voice man, obviously. He treated us to a rather lovely...
We shall follow the Chelsea over land and sea. We shall follow the Chelsea on to victory.
And Leicester. All on his own, as his name suggests. The Leicester, which should have been in the line before that, and Leicester is interesting. It was added, because on signs up the M1, it would say, to the north, and Leicester. So it found itself in the song, which was originally, we hate Nottingham Forest, we hate Liverpool too, and Leicester, we hate West Ham United, Chelsea, we love you. Lone voice man was having his lone voice moment just before the beginning of the game, and Nigel just gazed at him and said wearily, "Oh, I do wish he'd shut up." I mean, no one's going to join in, are they? I mean, are they? Well, they might, said Olivia. He might, she said, indicating the silent man of beard below, who so far had exhibited no emotion at all in the one game he'd so far attended. Bloody hell, that's not likely on the evidence so far, is it? I suggested. We've got not a peep out of him at the Birmingham game, not a sausage, not a single anything. He didn't even get up when anyone scored. I wondered if he was dead. Though he's not likely to join in any of lone voice man's attempts, is he? We don't even know if he speaks English. "Ooh, who rattled your cage?" said Olivia, somewhat cliché-riddenly.
Who rained on your parade?
Said Nigel, sort of elongating the metaphor.
Who threw cold water on your dahlias?
Said Belinda, somewhat incomprehensibly, but in the right spirit.
Who's been eating my porridge?
Said Dick, completely taking the piss. There's a man in a wig about 10 seats away from me, to my right. It's one of those wigs that perches. Not one that is pulled down firmly, much like a hat, but one that sits on his head. It looks ridiculous. A wig is never okay, unless you're on stage in Restoration comedy or playing the part of Louis XIV or dressing up as a woman, which is something that my aunt's husband does in the privacy of his own bedroom. But this is out in the open, at Chelsea versus Portsmouth. I shall call this man in the crowd Man with Wig for future reference. You know where you are with a name like that. It does exactly what it says on the tin, which I suspect will mutate to Wiggy as the season carries on. I don't get wigs. If this bloke has a wife, what does she say about his wig? Does she say, "I love you, darling, I've no objection to you looking like a pillock. I don't mind the fact that everyone knows you're wearing a wig and is giggling about you." And me, of course. They're thinking, why does she go out with someone wearing that on their head? Which they are. Or perhaps she insists he wears a wig. She actually requires him to wear a wig because he's actually got a huge dent in the side of his skull since she threw the iron at him. Or perhaps she doesn't know he's wearing one. They belong to a strange cult where they never see each other naked or touch, and consequently he never takes it off. Or she's unbelievably myopic and hasn't noticed. It's weird, isn't it? Women can wear wigs and hairpieces. It's part of looking good for them, part of their makeup. But for men, it's giggled at. I looked at this bloke with the black wig, and not only did the wig look perched on his head, but his real hair was a different colour. You could see some white strands poking out underneath. I mean, if you're going to wear a wig, why get one that is a different colour and that screams out, wig? At least get one the same colour as your real hair. I mean, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? But I think wig wearers are suffering from some kind of disease and don't see themselves as wearing a wig. Perhaps it's a self-hypnosis kit that comes with wig wearing that allows you to persuade yourself that everyone is fooled by your excellent hairpiece. It's the perfect rug and no one can spot the join. I worked with a bloke once who wore a series of wigs, not all at once obviously, and tried to fool us that his hair was growing. After about 6 weeks of wearing his obvious wig-looking wig, he'd appear with a slightly longer wig. Then after another 6 weeks, he'd change it for another slightly longer wig. And after another 6 weeks, he'd say loudly, phew, my hair's grown. Think I better go and have a haircut. And he'd appear the following day with the first wig on again. He wasn't fooling anyone. They were all wigs. The comedian Frankie Howard, famous for his catchphrase, ooh, missus, wore a wig, but was clearly so convinced that no one knew it was a wig, when he had to wear a wig to pretend to be a girl in Up Pompeii in the TV series where he played Lurkio the slave, he had the wig he was asked to wear put on top of his wig. Here's my message to wig wearers. We know you're wearing a fucking wig! Give in to baldness, have your head shaved and accept it. It's down to an abundance of testosterone or something. Most men lose their hair at some stage. Get over it! Anyway, man with wig, as luck would have it, is accompanied by a rather attractive woman, which makes me feel she's very short-sighted because I hate to repeat it. He looks an arse because he's wearing a wig! I point this out to Dick. Dick, look at that bloke in a wig. Rather than dig, which I just said. Look at that bloke in a wig. Where? He says, Dick, not noticing the obvious hat-like structure on this bloke's head where I'm pointing. There, 3 rows down, about 10 seats along. Where? He asks again. Next to the bird with the big norks. There's a large-breasted woman next to him. Dick sees her immediately. Oh, yes, she's rather nice, isn't she? Oh, no, not her, him. What, you fancy him? Is that what you're telling me? When did you come out? There's a side of you that we know nothing about. Olivia overhears, gets the wrong end of the stick. Is one of you now gay? She asks. No, we're looking at tits, says Dick. We could still be gay and be looking at tits. Blokes' tits, I feel like saying, and I do. Looking at tits, you are both so predictable, she suggests. No, I'm not predictable, actually, I blurt out. I can't stand being called predictable. I am predictable, only that I can't stand being called predictable. I continue. I am not looking at tits. I'm looking at a bloke with a wig. Who's looking at tits, says Nigel. They both are, says Olivia. Look, this is getting out of hand. I am not looking at tits. I'm looking at that bloke next to the tits who's got a very obvious wig on. Dick's looking at tits, however, and refuses to see the bloke in the wig because he's so attracted by the tits. Well, I'm not surprised, says Olivia. They're enormous. I think they're silicone. She's had a boob job. Look, Belinda, there's a girl who's had a boob job. Belinda had been chatting to her husband on her mobile. He was watching in another part of the ground, so hadn't been party to all the chat of wigs and tits, because normally she'd have been in like Flynn. Where? Where's the woman with the fake tits? There, said Olivia, next to the man in the wig. Oh, so she has seen him. But he's made no impression. The tits are more interesting. Oh, yes, they're huge and fake. We'll have a better look at half-time. So, no reaction to the wig from them. Only interested in the tits. Fucking typical.